uh, it would be like the Warriors, when they was creating that dynasty, a solid big three. But who would be Draymond? I think I would be Draymond in this situation because I'm always finding a way to stay on suspension. It's crazy, crazy. But month almost over, y'all. I feel like Draymond. I'm about to get back in the game. It's about to turn up. Hey, Ty, your fellow officer is back, man. Starting March. But outside of that, let's get back to some basketball. We got to talk about Disney. You said it.
Orlando Magic.
She's about to say a whole new world. But we gotta talk about the ceiling, man. I know RBO Vaughn gonna look at this and be like, hey, hold up, man, what y'all doing? Because I seen Tay say something in the chat already saying y'all about to talk about the best team in the NBA.
Oh my God.
That's per a Orlando Magic fan, not me. So folks in the comments, don't kill me. I'm just telling you what happens in the chats. We'll explain that later. But we gotta talk about what's the ceiling for the Orlando Magic. I mean, they just beat the Pistons, coming off a loss to the Hawks. 8th in the East right now. Where can that team go? I would start with you, Dave, because it's a Florida thing. But I'm gonna start with Joe because he got the energy. Joe was up this morning, live reporting about the Kings. So we're gonna start with Joe.
The Kings.
All right. Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. So first of all, they're the 8th seed. They're in the playing right now. What is Apollo trying? All right. So I know he stopped you from traveling to Wingstop. But so Orlando is AC right now, and far as their ceiling, so Orlando Magic is a young team. Obviously, they've gotten better this year. Paulo has been showing flashes of I can carry this team to a victory. He only averaging 22 points a game. Jonathan Isaac has been healthy for the most part. Yeah, he's a great defensive player. I think he will be a key piece in the playoffs. Suggs has been having a good year also offensively and defensively. So this but Markel Fultz's been hurt. So when I look at this team, I see they ceiling. It's all about matchup. Obviously, it depends because they're the AC. They will have to match up with right now how it's looking, either Celtics, Cleveland, or the Bucks. Right, and I gotta give it to you, man. I got them being the one and done exit. All right. But their ceiling is getting to the playoffs. Let me say that. Getting to the playoffs, they ceiling, which I think would be a big plus for them, getting that experience. But it depends on, your matchup depends on how your experience is, right? I think if they play the Bucks first round, you know, the experience. I don't know. I feel like they will gain more. None of these teams for real in the top three. I feel like I just think they just getting to play all. They're getting the experience, but yeah, I say one and done. I don't see them beating the Celtics. Obviously, Cavaliers. I mean, they'll have a shot, but the Cavaliers, they got Donovan Mitchell. He's been there, done that in the playoffs. But the Cavaliers can get got too. But I don't know. Orlando's just a young team. They're unproven. They need that playoff experience. It's a different ball game in the 7-game series, and not just the players, a coach. This would be the coach, the young coach, first time in the playoffs too. So I'm going to go with, especially Cleveland after last year, how they performed in the first round. They got to redeem themselves after that performance against the Knicks. All right, so I'm going to say first round exit. The first round to 7.
I agree with you. Go ahead, Dave. No, I was like, go ahead. We was on the same time.
Yeah, I agree with Joe. First round exit. I don't really see. I don't see a scenario. Well, I'll say this: I don't see a scenario where they beat 1 or 2. I think the Bucks might be their best chance, just because the Bucks, defensively aren't as good as they should be. Of course, because some of their best defenders are gone. I know we always bring up Drew Holiday, but we forget that it's a player that plays for the Phoenix Suns that was also a good defensive player who used to play for Duke. He is another good defensive piece that is no longer there, and I know a lot of people don't like him because he fouls a lot. He be tripping people up, but he's a good defender at the end of the day. So that's 2 defensive pieces that are gone, and you replace it with Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is a scorer, but we know he ain't a defender whatsoever. And then also this team has had a head coaching thing to deal with in Milwaukee. But Yeah, yeah, you're right, Carl. The dirty dookie.
All
Um,
just sending shots everywhere.
he do, but hey, look, Grayson Allen deserves to have be called dirty. Have you seen everything what he's done in basketball? Um, but Orlando Magic, they have some really good players to be able to match up well against the Bucks, but I just don't see a scenario where they can actually get it done. Because I feel like the Milwaukee's offense would be a little bit too much. And who they got to stop Giannis?
Yeah, Young's gonna be a problem.
So I don't see anyone being able to stop them. So first round, I mean, if they get to a fifth seed or something like that, then maybe they got an opportunity to get
Yeah,
to get in the second round. But where they stand right now, I don't see it.
Well, I mean, this is a clean slate, one and done. I feel the same way about this Orlando team, but this Orlando team kind of reminds me of this Kings team, and I think Vaughn said it. I don't know if he said it on the show or if he only said it in the chat as well. But them getting in the playoffs, it would be the right exposure. They have had some national televised games, but I think they had like one or two, right? I think Paolo the
oh
only
yeah,
like
probably one.
yeah,
That's it.
I think they had one, right? They're not really getting the hype that a first round pick should get. And
Nope.
them getting in the playoffs, and then if they do match up, let's say it is the Celtics. Of course, the Celtics gonna bring ratings because it's the Celtics. Also, I think they can get Cleveland.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying about Donovan Mitchell, but I think they can get Cleveland. If they play it right, they can get Cleveland. A couple travel calls that don't get called, the same way they did with the Pistons, they can get Cleveland. But they just need the exposure right now. They're a young
mhm.
core. The chemistry is getting there. Paulo is advancing. I wouldn't say he's top five player yet. I do like that Vaughn jumped out on the ledge and said that last year, but he is kind of showing that he's progressing each year. Um, the coaching as well. He need that. He would need that experience also. So it's going to be ceiling playoffs. The basement for me, I would say the play in, and hopefully they don't
Mhm.
get in the play in. But yeah,
Tom, I agree. I wrote down the Cavs after I spoke, and I'm like, yo, they actually match up well with the Cavs. Probably would be a mismatch. I mean, they don't have to put Evan Mobley on him, but he could take Evan Mobley outside of the paint and bring him out
yep.
into the perimeter. And Donovan Mitchell, their star power are their guards. You know what I mean? And like I said, they got Jalen Suggs, who's a really good defender, who's going to bother Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell tends to have these poor shooting games. You know what I mean? So like he be having these games, he's shooting like 25%, you know. So they can get them and like and the East is tight right now between like right, like between the fourth seed and the eighth seed. It's literally a 3.5 game difference. And the Knicks been sliding. We know that they posted in the chat since they had their podcast, right?
One and
So
five.
yeah, there it is. So Orlando Magic could match up with a Knicks or a Philly or Miami Heat, Indiana Pacers. All right. Now Miami Heat is where we won't get to Miami Heat, but so yeah, man, they can make us to the second round. I'm going to change my answer because all depends on matchup. We talking about ceiling, right? So the ceiling can be a second round exit. So I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say second round exit.
Yeah, that's kind of sort of I was alluding to, kind of sort of, and then in the end of my soliloquy, um, at the end, but depending on where they end up at, they
Matchup.
can definitely get to the second round.
Because they can beat the Pacers,
Hmm.
right? In a 7 game series, they can beat Philly in a 7 game series, even
Hmm.
with Embiid, because that's just how Philly is, man. Like Philly is has to prove himself to me. Like Embiid has to up his level in the playoffs. I don't care how good he's doing in the regular season. If he comes back, he has to show me in the playoff. He only had one playoff year that looks like Embiid, and that was that year they lost to Toronto in Game 7.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So second round. Let's say second round exit.
Yeah, nah. It reminds me of the Wizards that year when they made the playoffs, and everyone was like, "Yeah, this team, they're just happy to be here," and they actually beat. I think they played the Bulls. No, it was the Raptors. They played the Raptors that year, and they beat the
Swept them.
Raptors. Yeah, and everybody was like, "Wait a minute, what
I
team
remember
is
that.
this?" So yeah, Orlando, it could be a sneaky team to get in there. Now, what would be funny is if Orlando go on a little run. I ain't gonna say how far, but it would be funny.
Hey, Carter, I know you probably like, what we got? We got you next time, all right? We got you
Yeah,
next time.
yeah, we definitely do. So
Hmm.
I think we all in agreement here. Like second round, maybe first round exits. Either way is good exposure for this team. You know,
Playoff
get
team.
some. playoffs.
playoff team for sure.
Yeah, definitely agree there. That's a big jump coming from where they
Yeah.
were. And also, I forgot, Joe, a part of last year when it was me and Ty, Vaughn was in that conversation
It
also.
was.
Look, another team that just jumped. The Bulls is trying to fight for a playoff spot. It's a lot going on, man. Carl, our future is bright, man. Let's be happy about that. Outside of the bad stuff that happened to y'all the last 2 games.
Yeah, I was gonna mention this. With the healthy Embiid, I don't think the Magic beat them at all. I don't think they beat them at all.
Look at Joe.
I mean,
Now, if Embiid's not there, then they got a really good chance. But
I mean,
Embiid there,
I'm picking the Sixers for sure. But if the Sixers would have dropped the ball, I'm not gonna be like, what are you?
I would be if it was.
I ain't gonna be surprised.
I would be surprised in the first round, second round. Then no, I wouldn't be surprised because they don't really get past the second round. So that's the issue with Philly.
Oh god, that hurt. Man, we talking basketball, but you know what I mean. All right, let's talk about the other shows on the network, man. Oh man.
Let's get it, man. We're gonna run through this, man. Speaking of, look at my man Teddy show right on time, right? Listen, man, we got different shows on the network. Obviously, you're watching the R2L show with myself, Dave, and Tomo, but we also got a baseball show. All right, where we go? Here we go. There we go. We got a baseball show, Baseball with Teddy. All the baseball content from Refuse to Lose Sports.